Come with me, and you will see a place that was so fun to be. Say hi, join hands, 'cause we're all good friends with our neighbors round the world. Let's be friends all round the world.
Hello, I'm Beryl Bernay, and this is Karen, and Barbara, and Daphne, and Willie, and Jimmy. And they're our friends who are going with us to a very special country. Does this look heavy? It is. And if you lived in the mountains of Switzerland, you might really see a bell this big, and you might hear it too. What do you think this bell is used for? What do you think? Well, it might be the bell the lead cow wears on her way to pasture, and all the other cows follow when they hear it. Hello, Doodle. Everybody say hi, Doodle.
Hi, Doodle.
Doodle says we should look on the globe and find Switzerland, so let's do it. Here is the United States, and then we cross the Atlantic Ocean, we get to... Right, we get to Europe, and here next to France and Germany and Italy is this small country of Switzerland. And the early Swiss people came hundreds of years ago from the countries that are now France and Germany and Italy, and they still speak the same languages from those countries. And there are many high mountains in Switzerland covered with snow all year round. Tell you about the echoes, Doodle says. Well, if you call hello from one mountaintop, you just might hear your own voice coming back from another mountaintop. Doodle, you can't look for an echo, you can only hear one. Oh, well, look, we'll try hello in the different languages of Switzerland, and we'll see what happens. We'll pretend there's an echo, all right? Here we go. First, we'll try French. Bonjour.
Bonjour.
There is an echo. Let's try Italian. Buongiorno.
Buongiorno.
Let's try Swiss German this time. Grüezi.
What was that?
I said grüezi. Something is going on, and I know just how to find out what, I think. We'll see. Who are you?
Miss Bookworm.
Miss Bookworm. I might have known, Miss Bookworm. What's that book you're reading?
I'm reading about all the things made in Switzerland. I'll tell you about them later. Bye!
Meantime, why don't we meet someone from Switzerland, shall we? His name is Jean-Pierre, and he lives in the city of Geneva. Now, Jean-Pierre likes winter very much, and after school, he takes his skis, and he goes out on the mountain slopes. There's somebody else skiing, and there's somebody skating on a pond. Now, summers, Jean-Pierre stays with his grandparents in the village of Meiringin, where his grandfather makes cheese. And Jean-Pierre has his own special kind of pet in Meiringin. See if you know what it is. It is a cow, that's right. And her name is Laura. He's very proud of her because this year she's the lead cow. And she wears, what do you suppose, around her neck? A bell. That is right. And she wears something else, too. She wears flowers on her head. Now, let's pretend that it's summertime in Switzerland and go with Jean-Pierre to visit his grandparents. There he goes now, into his grandparents' house. Let's go inside, because his grandfather tells wonderful stories. Jean-Pierre's favorites are about the old days in Meiringin, when it was said that only very foolish people lived there. Some of his grandfather's stories go like this. Once upon a time in Meiringin, the mayor and his councilmen took a good look at the old town hall and grumbled. In fact, everyone in the village grumbled whenever they passed it. The shutters were broken, the sign was cracked, and the town hall was just like any ordinary house. Not a fine new public building like town halls in some villages. And after all, wasn't their village just as deserving of a fine new town hall as the others? Of course it was. One day, the mayor shook his head, and the councilmen grumbled more than usual. And the mayor said, "Enough! We will build a new town hall at once. Let's call a meeting." The first councilman said, "I don't think that's such a good idea." The second councilman said, "I think it's a fine idea." And the mayor said, "Well, that's 2 out of 3. We'll do it." And he gathered everyone in the village to help. And they worked, and they worked, and they worked. And one day it was finished. My, it was beautiful. The only thing left of the old town hall was the door, which they saved for good luck. And up to that door proudly walked the mayor, and the 2 councilmen went inside. And what do you think happened? The first councilman said, "It's black as night." The second councilman said, "Open a window." "There are no windows." "Here's a window. What's it doing on the roof?" "Where are you?" "Here I am. Where are you?" "I don't think there are any windows." "Are you sure?" And the mayor sighed. "Oh, dear, we forgot to build windows." What a calamity. Who ever heard of a town hall without windows? The mayor called a meeting immediately. The first councilman suggested lighting the town hall with candles day and night, but everyone grumbled that would be entirely too expensive for a village as thrifty as Meiringin. The other councilman suggested taking the roof off, but after a conference they realized that would be very impractical when it rained or snowed. And then the mayor said, "I've got it." And he whispered something to the first and second councilman and instructed everyone to meet early next morning and bring an empty bag, which they did. And the mayor led the way to a sunny meadow where he told everyone to open their bags, point them at the sky, and fill them up with bright sunshine. Do you think it was a good idea? Well, the villagers thought it was a very good idea, and they carried their bags carefully back to the village. And one by one emptied their bags of sunshine into the fine new town hall and shut the door as fast as they could. Did it work? It did not. For some strange reason, the new town hall was just as dark as ever. Oh, well, there was no solution until one day a little boy said, "For goodness sakes, why don't you build windows?" What an original idea. And so they did. Just that. It's amazing how smart some children are. Yes, the foolish folk of Meiringin always meant very well indeed, but somehow their good intentions never quite accomplished what they were supposed to. For instance, it seems there was an ancient tree growing near the lake, a poor tired tree whose branches bent lower and lower and lower each year, as though they were trying to reach into the water. One day the mayor decided to take action. "The old tree is thirsty and is trying to drink some water. As good citizens, it's our duty to help it." So he suggested to the councilmen that they might pull the branches down to the water to drink. Surely altogether they'd be strong enough. As mayor, he should go first. So he took off his hat and he put down his cane and he climbed up the tree and he huffed and he puffed and he finally got to the top branch where he hung by his hands. Next came the first councilman, who hung on to the mayor's legs. And next came the second councilman, who hung on to the first councilman's legs. The mayor shouted, "Now, every good citizen of Meiringin, take hold of the second councilman's legs, get ready to pull, and pull until the dear old tree bends down into the water." The villagers got ready, and then the mayor called, "All right, when I clap my hands, start pulling." And he clapped his hands, and they all fell right into place. And that's the end of our stories about the foolish folk of Meiringin, who gradually learned to be less foolish, and now are no more foolish than most people. What's that? My goodness, it looks like an elephant's trunk, but there aren't any elephants in Switzerland. What do you suppose it is?
A horn.
A horn is right. It's an Alp horn that the Swiss shepherds used to call to each other. But who was blowing it? Doodle? Oh, it couldn't have been Doodle. It was. Well, Doodle, if you can do it, I guess I can too. Yes, I can. I can try. Doodle, you're right. I can't. But, Doodle, how did a little thing like you learn to blow the Alp horn? Miss Bookworm taught you. Oh, everybody, let's call Miss Bookworm. Come on. Miss Bookworm! Miss Bookworm, can you really blow the Alp horn? You can? I have to see. Let's try. She certainly can. Miss Bookworm, how did you ever learn to play the Alp horn?
Well, I practiced after I read about it in my Switzerland books. And I learned all about what the people make in Switzerland, too. I'll show you. You help, Doodle.
What do you suppose they do make? Oh, yes. They make what?
Watches.
Watches, that's right. All kinds of watches. What else do they make?
Cheese.
Cheese is right. They make all kinds of cheese, and Swiss cheese is famous. Has holes in it, you can always tell. What else?
Chocolate.
Chocolate. They make all kinds of chocolate in Switzerland, too.
Chocolate. Can I have it?
And what is that?
Music box.
It's a music box. Take a look at the mechanism inside. Switzerland's famous for making very fine mechanical things. Yes. There. Now, isn't it a pretty tune that little house just played? We're all going to sing some songs in Switzerland. Sit down, and here we go. L'inverno è passato, l'aprile non c'è più, è ritornato maggio, canto del cuckoo. Now help, cuckoo, cuckoo, l'aprile non c'è più, è ritornato maggio, canto del cuckoo. It's fun to sing Italian and French and German too. Let's mix them all together, and this is all you do. Cuckoo, cuckoo, I like to sing with you, and now we'll sing a French song, and you can sing it too. Doodle's going to give us a clue. It's a French song about bells. What do you think it is? Frère Jacques is right, and everybody knows it, so everybody sing. And this time we're going to sing it as a round. That means some people start and some people start later. Here we go. Frère Jacques, dormez-vous, dormez-vous, sonne-les ding-dong, ding-dong. Very good. And now in the German section of Switzerland, they sing a song that goes like this. Der oben auf dem Berg liegt up der brune Hut. High up in the mountains there lives a fat brown owl.
Hey, diddly-dum-dum, hey, diddly-dum-dum, hey, diddly-dum-dum, bing